Hello, this is Dr. Peter Grinspoon. Today we're going to talk about the D.A.R.E program, the Drug Abuse Resistance Education program that many of us had to suffer through in grade school, middle school, and high school. I came from a very cannabis permissive environment where my dad was a legendary cannabis scholar and my brother Danny was utilizing medical cannabis in a vital way to help him contend with the chemotherapy he was getting for his leukemia. My house was always full of cannabis advocates and proponents passing the peace pipe and having the most interesting, engaging, inspiring conversations about all kinds of things. This was like the most eclectic and motivated a collection of intellectuals you'd ever find. And as a kid, this was very, very inspiring. I associated cannabis smoke with like intelligent discussion, with interesting ideas, with the creative free flow of conversation, and also with healing, because it really helped my brother maintain weight for the last year of his life. Then in high school, or junior high school as well, we'd go to the D.A.R.E program where the same old policemen would waddle in year after year. They looked like they barely had enough gumption to make it from Dunkin' Donuts, to make it through their lectures and to make it back to Dunkin' Donuts. And they would berate us with these fantastically horrible effects of cannabis, which had nothing to do with the lived experience of many of the students. So there's no secret that a lot of students start using cannabis at a young age. I don't recommend that people start it until age 18, but I personally started using it at age 13 because at the time I didn't know any better. I was a 13-year-old. My parents had no idea that I was using it. And, you know, once you lose credibility with a teen, good luck getting it back. And the teens knew that they were lying about the cannabis. And throughout the entire D.A.R.E message about alcohol, about heroin, about all the cocaine, all these more dangerous drugs. And the D.A.R.E program ended up increasing drug use because people thought it was normalized and people thought that it was what everybody else was doing. So this was a perfect example of how not to teach teenagers, how not to encourage teenagers to use drugs. I personally am a much bigger proponent of telling teenagers the truth. It might harm your brain. We're concerned about it. We don't want you starting until you're age 18. You need to just say wait on the cannabis. Most teenagers truly don't want to harm their brains. But we've learned a lot about what doesn't work in terms of educating teenagers, which is misleading them, lying to them. So I'm a big advocate of sort of radical honesty when talking to your kids about drugs and alcohol. And, you know, it also, you know, when I was a teenager, it really begged the question of who's more motivational. Like Carl Sagan at my home talking about whether there's life on other planets, or the same policeman giving us the same style lecture about D.A.R.E. I think it's really bad for kids' sense of, respect for authority to mislead them. And I think that we could do a lot better on drug education. We don't need to stigmatize drugs. We don't need to stigmatize people who use drugs. We don't want to, that harms people with addiction. We want to tell people the truth about drugs, particularly teenagers, so that we're trusted partners in the discussion about drugs, so that if they screw up, they can call us. They don't feel like we'll get so angry or so mad, we'll just go berserk. And so that they can confide in us if they need help, if they start getting dependent or addicted. So I'm a big believer in just say wait, in telling people the truth about drugs, and in having a reasonable, sensible, balanced approach to this issue and to other issues in life. Thank you.